Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I hope that you are having a great day. I should say right off the top that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also like to extend a big thank you to my moderators for holding down the comment section, where you do a wonderful job, and I would not and could not do it without you. So today we're going to spend some time talking about President Donald Trump during a sit-down interview that he had with Dasha Burns of Politico. He basically doubled down on the birthright citizenship, the 14th Amendment to be exact, being for the slave babies or babies of slaves. And those are his words. Of course, I'll show y'all interview. Y'all more so hear it because I put a still picture in place of the interview for fair use purposes and things like that. But you probably have seen the video or the interview already. So we're going to have a conversation about that as the birthright citizenship conversation. It's a hot topic. It seemed like maybe it kind of went away a little bit, but now it's back. So I'm going to cover all the moving parts to it in just a few. But in the meantime, let's see who we have on here. Albie Chill, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sister Shirley, and nice to see both of y'all again. You guys joined me early on the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. Well, I'll be there tomorrow at the same time. So thank you. I appreciate the love. Lawrence, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lisa, what's going on with you? King Noble in the building. Stephen, hope that you are well. Thank you for the heart back at you. Kira, how you doing? Long time no see. Jersey Rick, hope you're having a great day. Cloudness, what's going on with you? And Geechee Dan Buford, again, one of my favorite YouTube names. Brother Todd, how you doing? Says Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and Mandela all did this did time in prison too, came out and transitioned, and entire people now, schools, streets, and institutions are named after them. They're good, outweighed, they're bad. My son, the one he has been doing, throughout, I think he meant what he's been doing throughout the community has transformed lives. Put it like this: it's not Mayor Mondani who chose my son. It's God who chose them both. I think you're trying to say, so step aside and watch my son, God work. So you're speaking of, and we're not talking about that today. You know what's so funny? You might have read my mind because I wanted to talk about that, but then I said, no, let's talk about this. So we might get into that tomorrow. But my son, Listen, I think that's his name. He's been chosen by Zoran Mondani, the mayor-elect of New York City, to head, I guess, public safety commission or something like that, dealing with policing and the prisons and things like that. Now, my son, he did a stint in prison for an alleged, and he was found guilty of it, although he is saying he's innocent of armed robbery of 2 cabs or something like that. So, of course, a lot of people are like, oh, my God, you know, he's putting in all these ex-cons and this, that, and the other. And it's like, ain't Trump an ex-con? I don't know, right? But then my thing is, who better to lead those type of commissions than people who know about how things work on the inside? So I don't hate that. I think it's a great idea because oftentimes we see them put people in positions of power or influence that have no earthly idea as to what's going on. They just kind of reading and thinking they know. And so I'm not mad at that, but maybe we'll talk about that in more detail tomorrow. Priscilla, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mad Dog, what's going on with you? Concerned Citizen, how you doing? Says, is Congress going to have to define who citizens are? I think that it's kind of like at the Supreme Court now. So we're going to talk about that. Renz, how you doing? Troy, what's going on? Nice to see both of you all again. The Silent Investor, hey to you. Elle, what's going on with you? And Kevin. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So, of course, you all know that there's been this debate, if you will, since the Trump administration came back for a second term in regards to the 14th Amendment, which talks about the birthright citizenship. Now, I'm going to read to y'all the particulars of it, and then I'm going to show you what Trump said to Dasha Burns. So basically on January 20th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order declaring that most children born in the United States to parents who are undocumented or only temporary present would not automatically receive U.S. citizenship. Example, it sought to end ordinary birthright citizenship. The administration says the 14th Amendment's phrase, subject to jurisdiction thereof, excludes such children. Okay, so they're basically saying it doesn't include immigrants or people who are here illegal and then they have babies. Y'all know the term for that. I won't use it here because it's considered to be derogatory, but you guys know the term when somebody has a baby here that's illegal, then they somehow get to stay and all of that because the baby kind of puts them here. Anyway, so multiple federal district courts quickly blocked the order, issuing injunctions that kept the government from applying it nationwide. Those courts found the order likely violates the 14th Amendment and federal national laws. Now, the government appealed. So the government being Trump. Okay, so the Supreme Court agreed in early December, so recently, to hear the challenge and will decide whether the executive order, number one, can lawfully change the birthright citizenship. Number two, whether the lower courts properly issue universal injunction against the government policy. So basically, the lower federal courts, they don't want it. The Supreme Court is going to ponder whether they even have the authority to do that, because last time we talked about it, sounds like the federal courts have the authority within their own jurisdiction, but the question is, did they have the authority nationwide? Okay. Now, the court has scheduled an oral argument in the coming spring and is expected to issue a decision by late June, July, because the case raises a constitutional interpretation of the 14th Amendment and affects millions of people born in the USA. The ruling will be high stakes, right? Because I just said, millions of people are, waiting with bated breath. Is it going to pass? Is it going to, because basically if Trump gets his way, then all of these people who have had babies here and they're illegal, but the babies are considered legal under the 14th Amendment, those people, their citizenship will be in jeopardy. They'll more than likely have to leave, and it'll change the trajectory rather of people coming over here illegally and having children, okay? So that's why it's considered to be high stakes. Now, the central legal dispute is what the citizenship clause meant in 1868, specifically the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof, right? So where it's at the time. Okay, the administration urges an originalist reading that would exclude children of people here unlawfully or temporary. So again, illegal immigrants, okay? Let's, for lack of better words. Now, opponents like the ACLU, immigrant rights groups, and most lower courts argue the clause covers virtually everyone born in the U.S. soil, except narrow categories, children of foreign diplomats, occupying forces, and point to longstanding statutory recognition of birthright citizenship. How the court interprets this, sorry, I got a text. How the court interprets this phrase will decide the constitutional question. Now it says why groups other than descendants of enslaved Black Americans are invoking the 14th Amendment. So immigrants and their advocates, the most immediate and visible users of the 14th Amendment in this dispute are immigrants, parents, and civil rights organization, ACLU, immigrant legal groups, who rely on the amendment's text to secure citizenship for U.S.-born children. That's the direct legal issue here. So again, illegal immigrants are like, yo, we need this 14th Amendment thing here to apply to us too. Again, in 1868, it was, right after slavery was ended, the Civil War and all of that. And so the 14th Amendment again was enacted to say, hey, this babies of slaves, formerly, enslaved people, are citizens. That's not a debate, right? They're born here, they're citizens, okay? Now, civil rights and refugee groups, they invoke the amendment to protect equal treatment and avoid creating stateless children or large underclass of native-born people without full civic rights. So native-born, I think they mean like, okay, so you're born in the United States, but you don't have any legal standing because your parents aren't legal, things like that. I think that's what that means. Now, it says governors and states attorneys general on both sides argue the amendment's meaning affect voters' roles, eligibility for benefits, and demographic representation. Some states have filed briefs supporting or opposing the executive order. Partisan and policy motives matter alongside legal ones. Now, in closing, historically, the 14th Amendment was adopted to secure citizenship for the formerly enslaved people, but its text is broadly worded. And it goes, quote, all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. The textual breadth is why many different groups, not only descendants of slavery, rely on it when they seek to protect or expand birthrights or equal protection guarantees. So that's all of the verbiage behind the 14th Amendment, the birthright citizenship. Of course, the Supreme Court will render a decision in the summertime, whether it's a go for everybody or it's a no go for everybody, and it's strictly meant for the babies of newly back then, right? Freed slave enslaved people, right? So this is what President Trump said to Dasha Burns from Politico during about a 45-minute interview that they had, where they were talking about all the things, Venezuela, the grocery prices. He gave himself an A plus rating for the job that he's doing, even though the poll numbers say different. And so this is partially what came out of that toward the end of the interview. Here you go.
One more question on immigration. The Supreme Court is going to hear a case that could redefine who is here legally in the United States. I'm talking about the Birthright Citizenship case. If the court sides with you and ends birthright citizenship, are you going to try to take away citizenship from people who already have it?
I honestly haven't thought of that, but I will tell you this. The case is very interesting because that case was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the dates on the case, it was exactly having to do with the Civil War. That case was not meant for some rich person coming from another country, putting a foot in our country, and all of a sudden their whole family becomes, United States citizens. That case is all about slaves, the babies of slaves. And it was a good reason for doing it. And that's all it was about. And people now are understanding it. It's been explained to them. And I think the court understands it, too. That would be a devastating decision if we lose that case.
That court,
because our country cannot afford to house tens of millions of people that came in through birthright citizenship. When that happened, that was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the exact dates that it was passed, it all had to do with the Civil War and the ending of the Civil War. It's that little period of time. And people now are starting to understand it.
So again, that was President Donald Trump in an interview that aired today. I guess maybe they did the interview sometime yesterday. Again, she asked him about the hotly contested case that's before the Supreme Court, and he doubled down. He basically said, yeah, that was never meant for people, as he said, rich people coming over here and having families and babies and stuff, and for them to stay here. It was, again, meant for the babies of slaves, in his words. And of course, he cited the time period when the 14th Amendment was exacted. I think it was 1868 or so. And he was like, in a sense, he's saying it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who they were talking about. And then the other argument, too, is the forefathers or whoever put that amendment together. The theory is there's no way they were forecasting or foreshadowing that, okay, well, when we write this, we're going to include, illegal immigrants, because back then it wasn't really a thing. Not like it is now. Let's just say that, right? So the argument is they wouldn't have wrote that law to benefit future generations, or to say, well, in case we have an influx of people coming in from other countries, this is going to apply to their children, because as we know, that has been a thing. And again, I won't say the term is derogatory, but people come here for different countries and they have babies and they're like, oops, I have a baby here now. And so the baby's a citizen again, invoking the 14th Amendment. So I have to stay too. So this is my tide, if you will, to the country. So I'm not going nowhere. But again, Trump and them is like, nah, that ain't going to fly. Now, there's many people who are saying, well, Trump is looking out for Black Americans. That may or may not be the case. I honestly just think the Trump administration is using that. They want the direct interpretation of the 14th Amendment to unjustify, if you will, all the people who are trying to use the law. And then if you really think about it, I mean, he's got a point. And the question is, has the 14th Amendment been used and abused by everybody, right? Now, of course, slavery ended in the 1800s. And so, I, along with a lot of y'all, are descendants of slavery. So I guess that counts for us because we are the babies, in a sense, of freed people. So that means us. But yeah, I don't think they meant for any and everybody that comes over here, because if that's the case, then all you got to do is come over here. You could be like, 9 months pregnant, getting ready to, have your baby. And, I made it. Have my baby in Kentucky, and now my child is a citizen and I need to be here. So I don't think the founding fathers or whoever did the legislation on the 14th Amendment, I don't think they accounted for just any and everybody. In fact, we know that law has been used to argue for everybody but descendants of slaves. I've never heard that really argued for us up until recently, right? Let's just keep it a buck. Maybe it's just me, right? But I haven't heard it get the type of conversation that is getting now since the Trump administration. Again, he might have nefarious reasons for wanting to use it, but nevertheless, on the other side of that, as I said, the ACLU, the other immigrant groups, they're trying to use this bill to justify keeping illegal immigrants here. And that's what it is, right? It's not regarding immigrants that are here legally. It's illegal immigration. They're trying to use that and say, well, this law that was written in 1868, that's for them too. So, but they're not arguing, well, it's really kind of for, descendants of slavery. Let's have that conversation. We've seen Democrats, or politicians that look like us arguing the 14th Amendment for everybody else that it wasn't intended for. So I want to see what y'all got to say about President Donald Trump there. Bringing it up once again because he was asked and he doubled down and he kept saying it's for the babies of slaves. And in a sense, I think he's kind of annoyed. Like, I mean, you think about it. Just take politics out of it, okay? If you could just take politics out of it for just a second. It is annoying because it's an argument for people who are here illegally to glom onto some law that had nothing to do with them. It wasn't, they weren't even a thought. It wasn't illegal immigration wasn't even like that when that law was being enacted per se, right? That amendment. So it is annoying to think now y'all gonna try to, use this law. In a sense, you're taking it from the people. You're trying to anyway. You're hijacking it from the people that it was meant for, and you stand 10 toes down. Oh no, this is for the illegal immigrants too. And it's like, no, it's not. It doesn't say that. Now, they take exception to the word. I think it's all people or something like that. But again, you got to define the all people for when the amendment was done. Were all people in consideration then? When we say all people, were we talking about the all people that were already here? Like our Native Americans or our white folks, newly freed people, ex-slaves? Were those the all people and guess whoever else was here legally? Or were they talking about those people? Or were they talking about all people to infinity and beyond? Because how would they know that? Did the forefathers or the people who wrote that amendment and passed it, did they know that illegal immigration would be a thing and saying, well, let's go ahead and include them just in case, right? We don't want them to have to worry about if they have a child here, whether they're a citizen or not. So I think it's going to be very interesting. What will the Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court decide? Will they decide with Trump? Something tells me they will because they kind of have been, but it all remains to be seen. But like he said, and everyone else said, it is high stakes because if Trump administration wins, then see you later, right? Y'all got to go, all y'all, the ones that have babies here, all y'all got to go and try to come back in here the right way. But if Trump doesn't get his way, well, Black Americans, that's one more other thing we got to fight over and hope that it includes us. So I'm going to see what y'all got to say. And thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully I have been thorough in my explanation. Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, I don't know where he is, but I'm on my live.
I know where he is. He was Cheryl and them, but how about homegirl told me that she saw Cody taking the SIM card out of his phone one time.
Oh, okay. So I have to sock him up when I see him. Okay, but let me call you back. Okay, bye. I didn't mean for y'all to hear me get gangster. Anyway, okay, so let me go back to the top. Leaving off with Albie Chill says Illinois governor just signed a bill protecting illegal in his state. Shaking my head. We need to wake up faster. These people are demonic. Yeah, I saw that. There's so much stuff happening. I was like, I want to talk about that, but now I want to talk about this. But yeah, you're right. I saw that, I guess, to where it protects illegal immigrants from the ICE agents and things. I didn't get into the particulars of it, but it's like, so again, that's another person, a Democrat, that's saying we're going to do all that we can to protect illegal immigrants. Remembering that, especially in Chicago, that the illegal immigrants were put over there and they got all the resources that the Black residents did not get, which is why they're talking about flipping it red. But, J.B. Pritzker, Brandon Johnson, they don't care. They're like, eat my dust. I don't care if you're mad. We're going to continue to protect these illegal immigrants. But like I said, make sure they're not in office again. you know. Lynette, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yes, I see y'all with the anchors. I just, y'all know what I'm saying, the term. Assistant to the HNI. That's funny. Assistant to the HNIC. I like that. How you doing? Yeah, y'all can say the word. I'm not gonna say the word. Mike, nice to see you once again as well. African Native, same here. Nice to see you again. Okay, so Albert Chill says, I'm with the orange one on this one. They got to get out of here. Well, it remains to be seen. If the Supreme Court says they got to go, they got to lift those anchors per se, and they got to sell on. Sister Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. But Baraka, what's going on? Long time no see. He says, good to see you, Demetri. Yes, same here. Charmaine, what's going on? He says, nah. Sister Shirley said, everybody and their mother used the 14th Amendment. They definitely need to get rid of the 14th Amendment for immigrants. Yeah, but the question is, was it ever for them in the first place? Again, going back to when it was made, how would they know that we would have an immigration, issue, that they needed to include it? Because some tell me them people back then would have excluded it. I'm thinking, I don't know. Anita, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Jay, what's going on with you? Says trying to be us without actually having to be us. Yeah, that's definitely a hijacking of something that was meant for us. But again, everybody else talks about it for illegal immigrants, but they never mention Black Americans. Never. Or if they do talk about it, saying, well, if they take it from them, they could take it from you too. You could be deported too. And it's like, if you don't shut up, because that's not what that means. Like, how they gonna take something? Like, we are American. It wasn't something that, especially us, right? It was written to benefit us, generations of freed people, right? Descendants. So that's the scare tactics as well. Oh, well, if they take it from them, then y'all next. Oh, well. Lily, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Child of God, what's going on with you? Says all those Ellis Island immigrants got to go too. I don't know, right? Does that mean them as well? Will that argument expand to that? Because as you said, Ellis Island came in, sometime after 1868, where Ellis Island, New York was kind of like the portal, as they say, to America for a lot of immigrants. So that's actually a good question. Georgia, how you doing? Says that will be to outpopulate us. Well, I think they kind of already there. I understand now. That especially Hispanics, they're at 60 million in population now, from what I understand, and they believe it to be more. Julia, how you doing? Says I voted for Trump and lost friends and family, but nothing is cheaper. The only difference now is I have to pay double the price for same health insurance as 2024. It says I'm now $4,000 poorer per year. Yeah. And I see that they keep on talking about it. I saw they were talking about the health, the ACA, Affordable Care Act. Because the tax cuts expired. So the Democrats, they're, pounding on the hill, basically saying, hey, Republicans, this is your last chance to put those tax breaks back in, because, healthcare is going to skyrocket for a lot of people. I saw one couple said they were paying $400, and it looks like they might end up paying like $3,000 or something like that. So that's crazy. So, yeah, I understand. Night Rider, how you doing? Says Trump is right. He had his lawyers to take a microscopic look into that arm. He says, amendment. I think he meant before he said anything. At the time it was written, slaves were not citizens, and it's only for the babies of slaves. Yeah, so he's not changed his stance on that at all, right? So he's like, we need to win this at all costs, because if we don't, then and it costs billions of dollars to take care of people who aren't supposed to be here legally, and it takes away billions of dollars, from Black Americans. We're always told we can't have reparations because we ain't got it, but they got it for people who just, hey, I'm here. And y'all, I heard y'all got this 14th Amendment thing, so I'm getting ready to have a baby, and that's gonna ensure me to stay here. So yeah, that's not right. David, how you doing? Says right on, suckers. JJ, how you doing? Says the Supreme Court will probably side down the middle. There will be a back doorway for rich foreigners to pay in order to stay. Didn't Trump have some? You could get a gold card or something like that. You could buy your way in here. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? And Sherry says hope and pray that it passes, because the Asians really messed it up. Them and the Mexicans and the other Hispanics, they see a free for all. We cannot do this in everybody's country. I'm tired. No, you're right. You can't go nowhere else and say, I heard y'all got some sort of amendment that if I have a baby here, then I can stay. They're gonna be like, you can try it if you want to. You, your baby, and your umbilical cord gonna be up out of here. You know. Arsa, how you doing? Says they use everything foundational Black Americans fought and died for, grift on their benefit, diabolical. Yeah, you know. But again, that's on us. We need to be careful who we put in office. If we're gonna put people in office who think it's okay, you know, to use the things that were made to benefit us for everybody else, then that's kind of our fault if we don't vet them, right? Willie, how you doing? Says sorry to say it, but birthright citizenship is over in 2025. You think so? It remains to be seen, honestly. Edward, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Johan, what's going on? Since the party is over there, no longer useful in holding back FBAs. You said so they can bounce with the help of the Supreme Court. Me no black. Well, go home. Uh-oh. Kendrick, how you doing? Says, how did we get here? You mean as far as the 14th Amendment? Well, Trump, especially when he got in this last time, was like, yeah, no, this don't benefit the illegal immigrants. But the other side said, oh, yes, it does. It means for all people, you know, born here, whether they have a citizenship or not, or whatever it is. And so they're arguing like, nah, there's no way the politicians that did that amendment back in the 1800s, there's no way they could have thought about what is going on today. So that's kind of the argument a little bit. Diane, how you doing? Hope that you're doing well. Let's see. Black Butterflies, what's going on? He says on the airplane. And Five Rings, what's going on? He says the key words in their amendment is a jurisdiction thereof. Right. Child of God says open up a can of worms too, because Ellis Island era was after, yes, 1868. So it could be a very slippery slope. But I think the Trump administration is really talking about, you know, probably a certain group of peoples, right? Not just the Latinos, but it's people from these S-hole countries that he's talked about. We, of course, saw that he brought in white South Africans over here because they were being terrorized by the black South Africans. I think it was like, what, 50 of them or so came over, and you ain't heard nothing else about it since. Golden Heart, how you doing? You say it's for us only. Yep, that is the argument. Well, we're not raising that argument, but everybody else is who's trying to use it, right? Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Says peace and love, family. If the 14th Amendment was to be reversed, there would be millions of whites, Asians, Latinos, and blacks all have to give up their citizenship. That is true, right? So again, what exactly is the Trump administration meaning? Is it a certain group of people? Because it's not just, and I'm assuming they're talking about Latinos mostly, and there's other people who do it, but are they just talking about them? Or are they talking about Nigerians, you know, or Jamaicans and different types of Asians that do it? Like, who are they exactly talking about? So that's probably why it's going to take the Supreme Court a long time to figure it out, you know, 6-7 months out, 8 potentially, for them to figure out exactly what to do with that, because it is kind of, it's been made to be interpreted 5,000 different ways at this point. Cynthia says Donald J. Trump is definitely on point for taking legal action on redefining our 14th Amendment. I don't have any problems with him doing that at all, because it's like, come on now. Y'all trying to hijack it from who it was meant for, to benefit everybody else. And those people coming over here is not a benefit to Black Americans at all. It's going to harm us, and has harmed us the most. Mr. Parallel, how you doing? Says, my question is, how would this affect the indigenous Black people that are not a part of any recognized tribe and were never enslaved? Well, if they're indigenous, that means that they're citizens, right? They're automatically citizens, because indeed we weren't technically enslaved, but our ancestors were. And so we're just an extension, right? The descendants of those people. So we weren't, they might have come from somewhere else, you know, like the motherland or whatever the case is, but for the most part, they've been here, and we've been here for generations, just like the indigenous people. So where they were already here. So it's the hell, they were here before the forefathers, right? So I don't think that's a question of now what about them? They just are. Them pilgrims now, that's a different story. Hot to death, how you doing? Says blacks hate Trump so much, I wonder, will they walk away from their own 14th Amendment right? No, I don't think they'll do that. You know, while a lot of people on yang, that's all they gonna do, right? And even the ones that talking about, we're never gonna get reparations and all that, was like, leave your check on the table, homie, so the rest of us could divvy it up. See, they ain't gonna do that either. Kevin says, I hope they get rid of the 14th Amendment. It was created for slaves and the children of slaves. President Trump is 100% correct. I stand by him on this and his immigration policies. Bougie Barbie, how you doing? Says, I'm sure the future plan in the minds of supremacists is that we are not babies of slaves. He says, we may be descendants of slaves, maybe, but he will be trying to get rid of us like he is everybody else. He can't. How you going to get rid of us? Can't get rid of us. We are citizens like the triple OG citizens of America. We don't belong anywhere else, right? Even though, you know, your ancestry might have gone back somewhere to the motherland. I've traced my people back to the 1700s so far, right? So I would say it's safe to say that I'm a citizen. You know what I mean? So it's just, they can't. I know that's what people are saying. Oh, they could take it from you too, but where are you going to send me? Where am I going? Where am I going if I was here, right? My mama was here. Her mama was here. Her mama was here. And her mama was here. And her, you know what I'm saying? So where am I going? You know, Valdosta, Georgia, because that's where my mama was born, you know. And then my grandmama's people, you know, Florida, my daddy's people in South Carolina in the 1700s. So where am I going? South Carolina, at, you know, way back in the gap. So yeah, we shall not be afraid of propaganda. Let's see who else having to see. African Native says, I think they should have an amendment for people that are not descendants of your ancestors to differentiate and avoid misinterpretation. I mean, they could, but what would it say? You know what I mean? What would it say? And again, we're talking about illegal immigrants. We're not talking about immigrants who are here legally. We're talking about illegal immigrants. Hold on a second. I don't know. Somebody's at my door. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I swear for God and all the disciples, it seemed like the minute I sit down, everybody and their mama want to call, answer. Because I thought I locked my daughter out because I have a top bolt, but I didn't. It was somebody selling something, so forgive me. Whew. Okay, so Facts Not Feelings says, what would happen if the U.S. is 100 million people? It says lose their citizenship and have to leave. The U.S. will disintegrate overnight. It says, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm saying look at the consequences. I mean, yeah, but I think at the very least, you stop the bleeding per se of so many people, you know, coming over and using that, having babies, and then saying, you got to take care of me. My baby's a citizen, and now I'm a citizen, and, you know, all that other stuff, right? So I don't know if Trump and them have thought that far, but I think at the very least, if they stop people from using it and taking it away from the intended people, which is Black Americans, then I think everything else you could probably go from there, but that you have to stop that because everybody's trying to glom onto something that had absolutely nothing to do with them at all. So yeah. Lance, how you doing? Says, we are the indigenous of this land. The powers that be know this. We aren't supposed to know. Yeah, well, you know, some of us are, yes. Let's see. Georgia says, desired genes fit. Lita, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Skipping down. Frank, how you doing? Says, what Trump about to do for us? Then reparations. So I think you're asking, what is he gonna do for us? I don't know. You know, what he's going to do for us as far as reparations, probably doesn't want to do anything. And it's not if, it's when. We're going to get it, right? We got some things that we got to do. We got to get on the same page as Black Americans, first of all. Group economics, vote responsibly. There's a whole lot of things that we can do to help reparations come along faster. We just got to be willing to do it. But at the very least, it's birthright citizenship. It stops, again, the hijacking of yet something else that was meant for us going to other people, right? The civil rights. Back in the day when our ancestors were marching and all kind of stuff for civil rights, they weren't thinking it was going to be for the people over here in this country and the people over there for this country and this and that and the, you know, the LGBTQ and all that other stuff. And from that point, it's been for everybody but Black Americans. right? So the hijacking of things that were meant to benefit us. Now, if you think about when they originally were done, were they necessarily meant for that? I'd say loosely, yes. But it was so many loopholes to where everybody else can say, hey, well, I'll get on that. I'm marginalized. I'm a people of color. I'm a minority, right? Dr. Claude Anderson told us a long time ago and kept telling us, stop calling yourself minorities because that means everybody. So now it means everybody but Black Americans because we've been around, oh, I'm a minority. I'm a people of color and all that other stuff. Yeah, Golden Heart. I got to get gangster sometimes. Y'all know I have a different life outside of this. Boy, if you only knew. Constance says they use our slavery status as something to be ashamed of. Now they are sorry. Their enslavement wasn't the Caribbean, but in North America because slavery began in the Caribbean first. Okay. Yeah, but it happened over here in America. So, you know, every place that it happened, their governments and parliaments and all those things, yeah, they got to deal with those things on their own separate terms. Black Butterfly says vetting illegals. And I don't know what that's in regards to because I'm so far behind the comments. FM, how you doing? Yep, that's what I was trying to say. GH, how you doing? Says Democrats fight like hell for illegal immigrants. Yep. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Sabrina, what's going on with you? Says, when will FBAs learn illegals are not our friends? Well, yeah, you know, they're here for themselves. I mean, we've seen a lot of videos of them saying, I'm here to take. I'm not, you know, I'm here to build and do this, that, and the other. I'm here to do and take the opportunities that y'all take for granted. It's like, well, we don't get them opportunities like you think we do. But so, yeah, I don't even think it's an issue of friends. I think it's an issue of, man, move out the way. We finna take it. Like they're trying to take this birthright citizenship. Leader says they are using our own constitution against us. Yep. Well, of course, you know, the constitution, the 14th, 15th, 13th, 15th, 13th, 14th, and 15th amendment, that only applies to us. Slavery being ended, birthright citizenship and voters' rights, if you will, or something like that. But other than that, yeah, that they actually call that the Black Constitution. So yeah, Ryder, how you doing? Says all Black accomplishments in America came with a crowbar. You ain't lying, and they wearing that crowbar out. Gearhead, how you doing? Says returning the 14th Amendment to what it was actually for will not mean people lose citizenship. It will mean from that day on there will no longer be anchored people. Yeah, like that. But then the argument I think from Trump and what they're saying is now these people need to go back. They want to end it, which means that you have no more ties to America, although you had a baby here. So that's, I think, what they're trying to do. So it's not like from this point on, it's like, okay, all you people that had children over here and you weren't supposed to, you got to go. Arcantarian, how you doing? He says he can't double down upon it because they are terrors at this point without merits, no earned liberation rights to be here. What is happening is the erasure of the Bill of Rights law due to illegals. Yeah, so, you know, you can put it that way as well. Transatlantic slave trade man, how you doing? Says you obviously don't know Black Caucus was made for all immigrants. Like, I don't know how you just found that out. Now you're mad at the Black Caucus. Who you talking to? You ain't talking to me. And I know you ain't talking to nobody in the comments because you acting like you just, like you knew it all your life. You ain't telling us nothing we don't know. We know that the Congressional Black Caucus ain't for us. So who you talking to? Water Service, how you doing? Since the Supreme Court will hear this case in the summer of 2026. Yes. Is there going to be a statute of limitations when the decision comes down? It's in the hands of the Supreme Court. Whatever they decide, right? Their job is to do what? What's the job of the Supreme Court? Is to interpret the law. That's their job. Now, I don't know. I would imagine it's a pretty heavy task because now they got to go back in time, right? They got to go backwards and try to get in the minds of the people, the politicians who put the 14th Amendment together. What could they have been talking about, do you think? They thought they were going to be thinking in the future that people would be coming over here? Or was it just for the people that were here? Were the all people, the people? So you see what I'm saying? They got a lot of pondering and interpretations to do. That's their job. Cosmic Candy, how you doing? Says all Trump is doing is enforcing the laws and explaining who the 14th Amendment was meant for, not for their feelings, not to be hurt. We have migration laws that should be followed, period. Yeah, and I think people are just glossing over that. It's like, first of all, these people are here illegally. That should be a full stop. But what they're doing is a but, because, and what had happened was, no, it's a full stop. Julia, how you doing? Says ICE Lord, the eligibility requirements. So we now have high school dropout, ICE agents harassing nurses and scrubs and military veterans who are U.S. citizens, forcing them out of their cars and arresting them. Yeah, all that is going on. It shouldn't be going on. I don't like necessarily how Trump is handling that. I think there's ways to do it without all the austerity and all of that. But yeah, sounds like they are just kind of hiring any and everybody. Some people coming back with real funky backgrounds and all kind of stuff. So yeah. Nubian Cutie, how you doing? Long time no see. Said they would not know what to do without us around. Remember, they are cowards deep inside. Okay, Mad Dog, how you doing? Said this is why I hope Jasmine Crockett loses the Senate race in Texas. Yeah, they said, although she has, just from what I've been hearing all day, she has a lot of name recognition, but the guy Tellerico, whoever she's got to be primaried with on the Democrat side, said that he probably would win, but stranger things have happened, right? They don't think that she could win the Senate seat because I guess it hasn't been favorable for Democrats in like 30 years for what she's trying to do. But they said the guy that she's going to be primary with would probably have a better chance at flipping it blue Democrats. So it remains to be seen. It's going to be very interesting. So skipping down, Miss Mississippi, how you doing? Says the healthcare companies need to lower their prices across the board. I totally agree with you. But yeah, the Republicans should do something about that because it's not, see, a lot of people thinking it's just going to hurt Democrats. No, it's going to hurt everybody. I think they said 1 in 5 the Republicans are on Obamacare, essentially, the Affordable Care Act. So it's going to hurt a lot of people on their side as well. Damon, he says Latinos have numbers because 3 out of 4 are undocumented, or in other words, border. What? He says, look it up, get their behinds out of here. Yeah, and the other thing, too, is they're running circles around us because they have their babies and we don't. Right? You got this push for Planned Parenthood in our communities and all of that. Of course, a lot of, not most, but a lot of, I would say, Latinos are Catholic and they have a thing about birth control and all that. Is like you just keep having all the babies the good Lord allows you to have type thing. That's the way it used to be anyway. But us, they say, yeah, we're going to put a clinic in your neighborhood, gal. You need to go on over there and, you don't want that baby. Well, not a problem, So yeah, that's one way how they are they're populating, they're keeping their babies. But that was the plan. They're like, we're gonna go to America, back to America, right? And we're gonna populate, and we're gonna keep populating to where we take this sucker over. So yeah. Sister Cynthia, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says Democrats are protecting and pushing illegal immigrants to replace the black vote FBAs. We must stay focused and stand strong. Absolutely, and that is the goal, right? Know what and who we're voting for. Mr. Newman, how you doing? Says Trump is 100% correct. Okay, Mo, what's going on with you? Says get them all out of here. All right, just skipping on down because I see I'm terribly behind. Ray, how you doing? Says look at God. Rhonda, how you doing? Says this. That's why the Democrats are mad at Trump, and he is doubling down that birthright citizenship is for FBAs. Yeah, and they keep asking him about it, and he's like, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. Okay, this is for Black Americans, right? It was for slave babies, in his words, and he hasn't changed from that. He hasn't said, well, he says, no. Matter of fact, stop talking. I got this. Listen, it was for the babies of slaves. Are we clear? Right? Or orange? Mr. Know-it-all, how you doing? Says Black Americans are more American than any other people. Yeah, that's why I don't get that whole conversation that, whoa, what about, boy, you guys are going to get deported. Mr. Nerds Revenge, how you doing? Says FBA means for Black Americans. The F does not mean foundation. Hey, that's above my pay grade right there. Let y'all make it do what it do in the comment section with that. Lillian, how you doing? Says American lineage, enslaved children. Yep, that's what we are, Anita, so you're talking to somebody else. Yep, Johan, we are untouchable. Bakari in the building. How you doing? Says we are the native indigenous. Okay, Jerry, how you doing? Says we are the OGs, the triple OGs. Sister Cynthia says, I solely stand with Trump on protecting our birthright citizenship only for our ancestor descendants of FBAs. Chosen one, how you doing? Says this is our land. Yep. And he is. Shan, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I cannot complain. Just going down. Wild Williams, how you doing? Long time no see. Where you been? You been boycotting me? He says, we're going to get paid. Yeah, we just got to stay the course and stay focused. The Pink Panther, how you doing? Says Ellis Island, white people have only been able to claim that ethnicity in the past 100 plus years. Yeah, probably a little bit more at this point. But yeah, they're not indigenous to America, even though they think it belongs to them. Well, you guys just, everybody want to move around white people. It's like, first of all, everybody don't want to be in Europe because that's where y'all should be, right over there. You know, y'all done went and came to everybody else's country talking about it belongs to you. You stole it. Okay, tell that story. So yeah. Tyrus, how you doing? Says it's gonna collapse anyway if they keep going into debt. Yep. I totally agree with you. Barat, how you doing? Says, was it ice at your door? You know what is so funny? Why you playing, Barat? Was it ice at my door? I don't think it was ice. I don't open my door to people. I don't know. I thought I had locked my daughter out. But it's funny because the people that used to live here, they were Latino. And so for a while after they moved out and everything, they would come back and get their mail. And they had like a business, so they would get checks and stuff. And they haven't come back in like maybe 2 years or so at this point. And like they still kind of get checks and stuff here. And so my daughter and I was like, maybe they're not here legally, right? And so the other running joke between me and her is, what if ICE shows up? Talk about, you need to come with us. Like, first of all, homie. But so, yeah, no, it wasn't ICE that I know of. William, how you doing? Says, I'm a brown Native American blood, but this island don't belong to me. I belong to the island. I like that. Said, you are part of the island. Okay. No argument for me. Miss Lacey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Facts Not Feeling says whites will not deport other whites by the millions. It was the whites' intention to bring as much other whites into America as possible. This is why they ignored the 14th Amendment up until now, right? At Maureen, how you doing? You say we never needed the 14th Amendment to be citizens, but that would be telling too much the truth. Well, we know that, which is probably why we never really had that discussion like we're having it now, is because it came into play when Trump started doing the mass deportation thing, right? And then people start saying, well, what about the 14th Amendment? It says all people, you know? And so that's kind of how that, I think, even came about. They were trying to find ways of saying, well, you can't do that, Trump. These people belong here. Their children were born here. So, yeah, but I hear what you're saying. Daryl, how you doing? All as well. I cannot complain. Polo, what's going on? He says what he can do is make Black Americans exempt from income tax. We should be sovereign. I like that. You will not get any complaints out of me. And Jerry, he says birthright equals lineage. Yep. Sal, what's going on with you? Says, yeah, we're going to get deported from our living room to the dining room table. I don't know. But again, that's fear tactics. Basically saying, y'all better get involved. Y'all better, help these other people fight to be here, because if you don't, you next. It's like, I don't know, deport me to the Maldives or something. I don't know. He's somewhere nice and tropical. If it's got to be that way, it's not. But I'm just saying, like, all right, I'm still not getting off my couch, lacing up my boots. Bulldog, no, I ain't gonna say that, but yeah, that's what it is, right? And was the term legally. That was the term, but people get woke, and I hate that I even use it in the terms as the white folks have used it, and then you can't use certain terms anymore. Like they say, you can't say homeless, you got to say unhoused. It's like, no, I'm gonna say homeless because that's what they are, right? Saying unhoused just makes it cute, and being homeless ain't cute. Skipping down, Straight Black, how you doing? Says FBA all day. Old school, what's going on? Says people keep asking Trump what is going to do for FBAs, but has any FBA gone to Trump and told him we want reparations and anti-Black hate crime bill? I think he know that, because Ice Cube did with the contract of Black America during his first term, when he was running for the second term, that he didn't win the second time around. But yeah, he knows. The oh my goodness, how you doing? He says, Oh my gosh, rather. He says, reparations plan was in place starting with Trump and Ice Cube. I should have read your comment for the billion starting pledge with Black American businesses only, but he lost in 2020. I should have read your comment. Yes, I remember it. Gail, how you doing? Says these other groups know that the 14th Amendment was not for them, but they do not care. Yeah, it's a way to hijack it. Kara says, I'm more interested in what this means for the white immigrants. You know, they ain't thought it out that far. They ain't talking about them. Fat Short was going on and said, stop calling ourselves minorities and stop calling ourselves Black too. Well, I call myself Black. I've always called myself Black. But I do agree with the minority thing. Enlighten, how you doing? Says that the Supreme Court agrees with Donald Trump, it would be effective as when he puts it in. They can treat those like they treat diplomats, that their children born here are not citizens. Yeah, again, it just depends, right? What the Supreme Court actually comes up with, what they interpret it to be. Mackie, how you doing? Says Dimitri, I believe that we need some of our people to help the current administration write and implement these programs because our interests as FBAs must be first and foremost. But yeah, like I said, the contract of Black America with Ice Cube, he tapped a lot of economists and things like that. So he wasn't like he was writing bars to a rap song or nothing. He, got great minds to go in and help put that together and say, here, this is what I propose for Black America. But, Trump didn't get in and everybody dragged Ice Cube from one end of the earth to the next. And, people still hate him. And all he did was say, hey, let's get something specifically for Black Americans. And, crazy. We live in a crazy world, bizarro world. Laverne, how you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Raymond, what's going on? He says, tell him, sis. Viking, how you doing? It says only for FBAs, and FBAs is being robbed by allowing all these illegal alien birthright citizenship. FBAs should never vote Democrat again. Yeah, until they want to do right by us, then we just, get somebody else to do it, right? Get the people you fighting for to do it, which was the plan in the first place, right? Bakari says the 14th Amendment gives you alienable privileges, not rights. Got you. Let's see who else haven't I read. Black Panther strikes. How you doing? Hope that you're doing well. You're talking to somebody else. Unicorn was going on. He says, I'm waiting to hear Trump speak about the economy. He did during that interview. You can catch it on Politico. He said that everything is going down. He inherited a mess from the Biden administration. He gave himself an A+++ rating for how he's handling everything. But he was like, money ain't a thing. Y'all tripping. The economy's good. So a lot of other people say it's not. Apollo, how you doing? Says, get them out by any means necessary. My aunt, did I say hi to you? I know I saw you earlier, but hello, he says, Dimitri, so much going on. Democrats, Republicans, neither one rather support immigrants or foreigners. Yes, indeed. Kellen, how you doing? Says, who will vote for men having 2 wives so we can get our birth rates up? You know damn well they don't take no vote. Some, not you, them over there doing it anyway. Y'all don't need no vote for that. You ain't been needing no votes. Fireside, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Simply Sandra, what's going on with you? Says, I'm so late. Just got back from power walking peace. Exercise. You always exercise over, being sedentary. I did that earlier today. Went to the gym. Renwood, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yasanti, how you doing? So the Freedmen Amendment, it says that 13, 14, and 15, these 3 amendments were written by Congress in direct response to the condition of the freedmen, the formerly enslaved people of the United States. Yep. It doesn't really give us anything. Doesn't make any sense. It's got some sort of protections, but I guess what I'm saying, ain't no money on it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Black Love, how you doing? Says, I don't know what Trump is up to, but it will be big. It'll be very, very, very big. In the words of Trump, right? He has to use a whole lot of adjectives. Honda, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says FBA all day. Thurman, what's going on with you? Says Black. He got a whole bunch of emojis. America's only period is quite clearly they cannot and will never change the American Constitution. So bye to everyone else. Ooh. Tell us how you really feel. Timothy, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. How you doing today? He says, hi, sweetie. I need a vacation outside the U.S. And LU. He says, Lord, okay. Well, take me with you. I ain't been outside the U.S. in a while. Take me with you. Where we going? Just let me know. I have my bag packed. I'm no trouble. I don't need much. I just need my passport and my little bitty bag, and just tell me which seat we're sitting in on the airplane. Andre, how you doing? Says stole, reconquered. And this who this we you talking about? Talking about white folks? You stole it, pillaged, took. Lady Leo, how you doing? Says, why do you and Phil always wanting FBA to go to Africa and big up Ethiopians? I've gone to Africa. I'm not above going to Africa. I think you should travel. See, that's the problem with us as Black Americans. We don't travel. You know, I don't have anything against African people. I went to South Africa, Johannesburg to be exact, Soweto. I went to the Seychelles even, and the most lovely people you will ever want to meet. They were, wanting to come over here. And we're like, don't come over here. You ain't trying to really come over here. Y'all, y'all play your cards right over here. It could be great, right? Majority Black, especially in South Africa. South Africa, white people, people are a small percentage of the population, but I didn't meet any horrible people in South Africa at all. So I encourage everybody to travel. Go to the motherland. Go see stuff for yourself. Travel the world. Got to get outside of our little box. So it's encouraged because you should travel. There's a lot of people who will never travel, never a day in their life, will never leave outside of their state. Some people, their city, right? And you'll get the narrative from everybody else. Because even before we went over there, you got to be careful, watch out, this, that, the other. Oh my God. So the first couple of hours, we was like, ooh. And then I saw a white lady walking down the street with her purse by herself. I said, I know I'll be damned if I'm scared to walk amongst Black folks and this white woman walking around and at night, by herself. I'm like, man, bump all that. And we didn't have not a problem. So yeah, you don't have to go to Africa, whatever. It's up to you, but it's a suggestion more than anything. Cosmic Queen says, and how you doing? So the thing that we all, American, Caribbean, Haitian, and Mexican, North, Central, and South America, the issue is that those countries want to take from indigenous Americans in the U.S. Well, they're allowed to do it. Again, with the Biden administration, they said, come over, get all you can get. Quan, how you doing? Says Trump even said it a while back ago. 13th, 15th Amendment was meant only for FBA plus what we have done for this country since the founding. Moreover, read Edward Abbey, Compassion Rose, Desert Solitaire. Okay. Destiny, how you doing? Says Black American and white immigrants get a pass. Yeah, I guess. White immigrants because they making the laws, right? But they not indigenous to America either, if you really want to just break it down. Toby, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I think I'm making progress. I hope. I see everybody's comments, but I just want to acknowledge. I know you was joking, Barad, but I be thinking that sometimes. Like, is it ICE? Apollo, how you doing? Says before the 14th Amendment went into effect, we were classified as Indians. That is the purpose of citizenship. We were Indians. Yeah, there's a lot of argumentation about that and this, that, and the other. I purposely try not to get into all of that. For other reasons, but yeah, word on the curve. Going down. God is my boss. How you doing? Says I'm in Minneapolis. And how's it going in Minneapolis? I like that. God is my boss. He said it's bad here with the immigrants. Black love. How you doing? Says Trump bought the clean house for real. We gonna see, right? Shell Nash. How you doing? Says Trump. We need tangibles. Give us our reparations. Yeah, I mean, that's how you really are for Black Americans is write the check. The homie, how you doing? Says we have low birth rates. Trump wants to drop the hammer on us and get us out the way. Well, that's been a thing, trying to get us out the way back in the gap when they left, freed us from those plantations, eugenics program, the Negro Project, and all that, and a whole host of other things, even up until today. Crack was dropped off into our neighborhoods to dilapidate it, unstabilize it. You name it. There's a lot of things that's been put into our communities and our pathway to get rid of us, and we still here. So yeah, Miss Reeves, how you doing? Says like Cat Williams said, they shouldn't have been talking shit, right? Ma'am, how you doing? Says I'm Black and proud. Same. Ernest, how you doing? Says simple and plain. All illegals must go. The free ride is over. And as long as Trump is in office, the Democrats can't. In the comment cut off. I think Sabrina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Aaron, what's going on? Says everyone knows Trump ain't for reparations, but he creating more jobs by kicking these illegals out. Yeah, and you're hearing a lot of people saying, I got a job. And I'm not kidding. Like, I've seen a lot of black men on construction crews. Like, before I wasn't seeing it. It was rare that I would see it, but now I'm seeing it all over, and I'll be wanting to stop. My daughter's like, "Oh, you fast." I'm like, I just be wanting to say hi. How y'all doing? So happy to see you here. I ain't got nothing else going on. I just want to say hello. Maybe it's just something underlining, but I don't know. Daryl, how you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Tradina, what's going on? Nice to see you again. It says again, backstabbers, fraudsters, grifters, scammers, and sellouts are exposed. Yes, indeed. King Shaw, how you doing? Says other cultures get specific bill. FBAs are always adding everyone else and then push out FBAs. Well, we allow them to do it, right? Again, we talked about this early on the African Diaspora News Channel. Y'all can join me there again tomorrow, 11 a.m. We allow them to do it. By the way, we vote. Yeah, FM, you know you ain't lying. Nick Cannon and Cam Newton don't need no votes. They just procreating, aren't they? They're not saying, well, we're just gonna wait till somebody pass legislation. They's like, well, we rather apologize later or ask for forgiveness if we're breaking a law. People, black people are Israelites of God. How you doing? Says, I believe that God is using Trump to expose the truth. That means more when Trump says it than anybody else on earth. Oh yeah, it's definitely using Trump to expose a lot of things and open our eyes, especially, right? James, how you doing? Gwendolyn, what's going on? He says there are minutes that survive the arguments. He says when they were going back and forth about the 14th Amendment, and they made it clear that they did not want to use it the way it's being used now. Interesting. I haven't heard that, but that's very interesting. Abel, how you doing? Says travels to third world countries. I mean, you know, you can if you want. All third world countries aren't like dangerous. I mean, America's dangerous. If you think I'm lying, go to your local dangerous part of the city and go hang out in the alley, you know, not midnight, 12 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, and just wait there and see how dangerous it is, right? They try to sell us that other countries are dangerous. Hell, I live in Houston. You can't go to a lot of places in Houston and make it back. Your chances are slim, you know? So, I mean, by that account, hell, America's a third world country. Check it. How you doing? Says you all are as dumb as they come if you think he's doing something for black people, regardless of what you call yourself. I can't believe how dumb you are if you believe this. It takes one to know one, homie. James, you're talking to somebody else. Let's see. Freddie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Timothy, thank you so much. Y'all says you heard what she said, right? Let me get back to y'all. I'm just saying, let me know. I pack just like that. But thank you once again, Roger. How you doing? Says the point is to separate all of you. Well, we've been told to be separate anyway. You know, that's another conversation that kind of got out. You know, the segregation thing when Trump got in office about the contracting segregation thing. We started to have that conversation again. Like, yeah, segregation is not bad after all. Then of course people are like, well, you know, why do you want to leave? Why not? Just going all the way to the bottom, teaching 777. How you doing? Says Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Thank you for that Bible scripture. D Toppy, what's going on? Says we are the chosen people. Yes, indeed. Tex, how you doing? He says Trump has a case because the 14th Amendment situation applied to the court decision of a Chinese man who sued the government after being denied re-entry to the court, ruled in his favor in 1898. Okay, it remains to be seen. Ya Santiwa, how you doing? Says I got a job as soon as Trump kicked some of those illegals out. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of people say that. I finally got a job. Southern Breeze, how you doing? Says Delineation Forever FBA. Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, how you doing today? Did I get to the bottom? Nope. I thought I did. Bernice, how you doing? Says Scripture shows we get our reparation the same way the ancient Israelites got theirs on the way out of our captivity. I can dig it for sure. And I totally believe that. Mr. Ernest says simple and plain, all illegals must go, free ride is over. And as long as Trump is in office, the Democrats can't save you. That's what you're trying to say. Got you. Shaolin, how you doing? Says I agree with the president. Cultural media, what's going on? It says they need to go. Okay, I think that's the consensus here. I haven't seen anybody say they needed to stay. Kim, how you doing? Says we still haven't forgotten them op files. What op files are you talking about? Savior, how you doing? Says I saw some of your shorts of you on roller skates and how smooth and beautiful you look. Oh, thank you. I haven't roller skated in probably a year. I need to go out there. In fact, I passed that place where I go roller skating today, and I was like, oh, I don't have my roller skates. And I had a skirt on too, so that was probably not going to work out too well. But yeah, I love the roller skate. When I get back to it, I'll put another video up. I always tell people I know how to do a lot of things. People are like, you know how to do that? I sure do. Molly Cakes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And with that, I got to the bottom. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Thank y'all so much for bearing with me through the phone calls and, people knocking at the door and all of that. But I will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. But I'll be on the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to be talking about the church. It's going to be a great conversation. I promise you. So anyway, in the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace. I shall. Wow, Williams, thank you.